the Sprk Investor Network, where entrepreneurs and investors meet.
My name is Lowell Kaufman, founder of WellInformedPet, and this, for those who can see, is Kona, co-founder of WellInformedPet. So Kona is a rescue dog who has some health issues, and the story is that we were on vacation upstate, and she needed to see a vet kind of suddenly, and I didn't have her health history with me handy, and it led for a more complicated visit than it should have been, and the software engineer in me was saying, why don't I have this stuff online? So that really was the inception of the idea for WellInformedPet. A pet can't tell you how they feel very well, and access to critical health information is not always available. You look at what happened with the hurricanes, particularly in Texas and in Florida. Pets are allowed in some shelters nowadays, more so than they used to. But I actually saw on PBS just a couple of weeks ago how the head of the health centers down there were saying that their challenge was keeping track of the pets, keeping track of that information. So I've actually just started reaching out to the Red Cross to talk about that kind of stuff, because this is an app that would definitely help in that space. Caretaking is also costly and difficult, and sharing with all of a pet's caretakers is complex. A pet nowadays is treated like a child in a lot of households, and like a child, they have many social activities. My pet Kona has not just a vet, but a groomer, a walker, a sitter, daycare, all sorts of different people interact with Kona, and they need access to this information too. And that's really what we're trying to solve. Basically, it's just allowing caretakers to track, share, and contribute to that pet's health history, and let people have access to that information who needs to have access to that information. That's really the long and short of it. Yes, we're integrators and we can integrate with other tech services, but really what we're really trying to provide is a holistic view of your pet's story. My pet sitter uses the app when I'm away and has literally sent me a daily update of not just pictures and videos, but will also say, Kona's showing some symptoms. Should I give her her medications and things like that? And that's stored in the history. So I actually have used that history even when I'm not around. I've gone to my vet, and they see 4 or 5 weeks of history that I wouldn't remember, and the vet has changed her meds because of that. So this actually does help not just track and feel the security of having that information, but also can help really take better care of your pet health-wise. As said earlier, the pet market is huge. It's more than $60 billion and rising. There's 80 million pet parents in the United States alone. You can just double that for a global view of those numbers. Yet the technology sector within the pet space is really in its infancy. I was involved in the early internet days in the 90s, and it reminds me a lot of that. It's just a wide open playing field with a lot of opportunity and a lot of unknowns as far as where it's going to go, but it's going, and it's going rapidly. You've seen more technology in the last year or two in the pet space, but it still isn't really quite there. But within that, and the pet owners do have an appetite for using technology to track their pets, studies have shown. But within that large sector, how does the startup really focus? And so there's a few different ways we're trying to focus, but a particularly good number to me is that there's 3 million pet adopters per year from the 10 to 15,000 rescues in the US. And that really just says, work with the rescues, you get pet adopters who are always churning new customers all the time. So that's one of the sectors we really want to penetrate, and we started working with rescues to use our product for free. Which is part of the giving economy aspect of what we're doing. 2 other sectors we want to get into early because of the benefits they get from this product are travelers. 30% of pet parents who travel with their pets for people who have them. And the ones who leave them behind, there's more and more numbers of people who are using pet sitters. The pet sitter population is growing as well. So the travel industry is a very good industry to hit. You've probably seen pets more and more in hotels and pets on planes and things like that. So it's growing. And the third segment that we want to hit is pet parents of sick or elderly pets. Pets live longer now because healthcare is better in treating pets. And just like with people, they get more and more complicated issues as they get older. Half the pets in this country are obese, a third have diabetes, and a fourth will have cancer. So all of these health issues reflect things that need to be tracked more carefully, and our app helps with that. So how do we get into these channels? As I mentioned, we're working with rescues, and the idea is not just to work with rescues one-on-one, but work with channels of rescues like the Mayor's Alliance in New York, who we've been talking to about running pilots. They have, they channel 200 to 300 rescues in New York City. There's pet influencers, which have a large audience to reach and people who pay attention to these pet influencers. I've been working with a PR firm that specializes in pets, and they have access to pet influencers who have 10,000 to 100,000 followers whether it's Instagram or blogging or whatever, and these are good audiences to reach. And they're also very specialized, some of them, so we can talk to the ones that focus on senior pets or focus on ones that focus on traveling with your pet. And then the travel industry, to get into that sector, we offer our service to a pet-friendly hotel. The pet parent uses it and it carries with them after they use it. So a lot of this is reach channels that really cater to the pet parent to use the app and carry it with them moving forward. Also localization, a lot of local events in the pet world. Meetup is a particularly good avenue where a lot of like pet parents of like dog breeds will meet up in the same place. And so I do run one meetup that has 500 members that's technology lovers who love pets. And that alone, just replicating that across big cities in particular with meetups is another way to penetrate the market. Our sales model is subscription-based initially. $50 a year is our target. And we feel that, again, the giving economy is the $50 not just goes to you who own the app, but it helps support rescues to continue to use the app for free as part of our messaging for this. There's other revenue streams as we mature that we're looking at. As I said, myself, my CTO, we both come from data integration backgrounds. And we can the architecture is already built to build on top of existing services with other pet services like a vet health record system or pet insurance companies, which we would provide value-added user-focused services on top to offer as one of our offerings. And then finally, as we really mature, we're getting data around pet consumer behavior, and we feel we can commoditize that. The competitive landscape, it's actually there, but not big. The ones that really are doing anything close to what we're doing as far as health record management of any form are in their infancy as well. Two examples are PawPrint and Vitus Vet. And they are doing things in a little different angle than we're doing. They are focusing on building relationships with veterinarians, and with veterinarians, then they get the consumer. The problem we feel we have with that in talking to veterinarians is that adoption of technology would take a long time to get them on board. Just like a doctor using new technology would take a long time to bring on board for technologies like this. And I've actually talked to the CEO of PawPrint who agrees that it's taking a long time to build those relationships. We want to go more to the heart of the giving economy side of things and really just to the heart of the consumer directly for this. Another segment are wearables like Fitbits for pets, which are becoming more and more popular. They started off focusing on data collection, which is why I have them in the competitive landscape. But now they're really focusing on the GPS aspect of finding a missing pet. And they're actually better partners than competitors in the end. The funding we're asking for is $400,000, which would be about a 6-month burn rate with a real focus on marketing and growth. We have a product developed, we have good development, and we need to continue to do that. But it's really based on more and more feedback that we have from the user base. And looking for a real executive in the marketing space for us is a big hire. We have, again, good technology and development and product people. We need people who can fill in that black hole more, though I think we have a good marketing strategy here that's been planned and is set. So we have an MVP. It's a web app that runs well on mobile. We have 90 users. 10 of them are rescues as early adopters to get feedback from. And a big part of the feedback is we do like it, but we really do need the native version as well. So we have our Android version that just came out about a week ago. We have the iOS version in testing right now. And we basically want to, as I said, the next steps moving forward are building more relationships. We have relationships with some pet services companies to do co-branding. We have relationships with some rescues. We have relationships. One of my advisors is one of the top trainers in New York City who has a really great clientele list. And we're getting user feedback from them right now as they're using that. That's about it. My background, again, 10 years of startup experience. I've had one successful exit strategy in the early days. That was a $25 million acquisition for an early web email product. 10 years in the financial sector doing technology development, doing data integration and things like that. Eduardo Segura, my CTO, worked for me for 4 years, and we have other people who've really helped in the product development space to get to where we are today. Thanks.
The Sprk Investor Network, where entrepreneurs and investors meet.